And concerning the second part of the chapter, as we said, there is a form which is called a standard form. So the standard form is under the form ax plus by equal to c. So as a simple example, 2x plus 3y equal to 5. It's a bit similar to the old form, which is the point slope form, but x and y are both on the same side. We say that in general we have to write it under the form y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. We'll get to that later. Let's take a quick example first. Let's say the equation is given in standard form, 2x plus 3y equal to 5, and the question was to graph the equation above. Always to graph the equation, we need to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now, as we explained in the previous video, is that the y-intercept is where the equation, the line, cuts the y-axis. So the x-intercept is logically where the line cuts the x-axis. And you said before that to find the y-intercept, we need to set x equal to 0. So let's take this equation and set x equal to 0. So it will be 2 into 0 plus 3y equal to 5. And 2 into 0 is 0. So we're left with 3y equal to 5. And this will give us that y is equal to 5 over 3. So to write that in coordinates form, we say that, okay, x is 0 and y is 5 over 3. So this is our first coordinate. And for the x-intercept, so trivially, if we, in y-intercept, we set x equal to 0, so in x-intercept, we need to set y equal to 0. Going back to the original equation, if we set y equal to 0, so 3 into 0 is equal to 5. 3 into 0 is 0, so 2x is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5 over 2, which is 2.5. Alright, so since y is 0 and x is 2.5, this will be our coordinate form. So now to graph it, we simply we draw a y-axis and the x-axis. And we say, we have the 2 points. The x-intercept, where it cuts the x-axis, is at x 2.5 and y 0. So 2.5, 2.5. So this is our first point, right? And you can use a calculator to figure out 5 over 3 is approximately what? So 5 over 3 is approximately 1.67. So we say that our next point is the y-intercept, which is at 1.67. 1 and 0.67. So approximately around here. So now we have the 2 points. We connect the 2 dots together. And this is the line of equation 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Alright, so what about this equation? Well, this equation is quite simple. Let's take an example. Let's say, for example, I told you we need to find the equation in standard form of the line that passes through let's say a of coordinates 2 and negative 5, and has a slope of half. So the 3 steps are a bit similar, but we need to change the original equation because now we know it's in standard form. So it would be y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. Now x1 and y1 are simply the coordinates of a point that passes through the line, which is a in this case. And m is nothing but the slope. So in part 2, we say that directly there are no 3 parts, there are simply 2 parts. So in part 2, y minus y1 we directly replace by the coordinate of a point that passes through the line. So y1 is negative 5 into m, which is the slope, which is a half, into x minus x1, which is the coordinate of the point that passes through the line, which is 2 in this case. So we'll get y plus 5 equal to half into x minus half into 2, which is simply 1. And now we take half of x to this side, so it becomes negative half x, and we take positive 5 to this side, which is negative 5. So we'll have y minus half x is equal to negative 6. So this is written in standard form. And the second example, let's say the slope is not given. but I gave you 2 points that pass through the line. So a line that passes through, let's say, A of coordinate 1 and 3, and B of coordinates 2 and let's say 4. Alright? So we say that the general equation is y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. In the second step, I need to find the slope. Because what are y1 and x1? They are simply the coordinates of a point that pass through the line. So I can either replace y1 and x1 by 1 and 3, or I can replace y1 and x1 by 2 and 4. So to find the slope, we use the formula that we learned before, which is y of b minus y of a over x of b minus x of a. So y of b minus y of a over x of b minus x of a. And I repeat, we can say y of a minus y of b as long as we say x of a minus x of b. So plotting this back in the equation, we'll have y of b, which is 4, minus x of a, which is 3, over x of b, which is 2, minus x of a, which is 1. So 4 minus 3, which is 1, and 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 1 over 1 is simply 1. So now that we have the slope, this is check. I replace y1 and x1 by any of these coordinates, either a or b. I'm going to replace by a. So the equation will look something like this. Y minus y1, as I said, I'm going to pick a, which is 3, equal to m, that we just found, which is 1, into x minus x1. I'm going to pick also a, because if we want to pick y1 to be from a, x1 has to be from a as well. So x minus x1, and which is 1. So we'll have y minus 3 is equal to 1 into x, which is simply x, and 1 into negative 1, which is simply negative 1. I move the x to this side, becomes negative x, and negative 3 to this side becomes positive 3. We'll have y minus x is equal to 3 minus 1, which is 2. Now this is in, as we said, standard form. So this is standard form. I can also move from this step and write it in point slope form. So to write it in point slope form, we simply leave the y on this side and move negative 3 here, becomes x minus 1 plus 3, so it becomes x plus 2. And this is in point slope form. Right, and that's it.